J-Rod hasn't even played.
Look
He
at
literally
Dominguez's
hasn't
cards.
even played. We're going to bring the casual episodes back. Luca Nation. Episode 625.
625. That's pretty impressive, man. 625. That's a lot. You know, like, it's a lot. You know, if you had 25 episodes, it'd be a lot. Right? And then you did it 5 times that, it would be a lot, because that would be 125. And then you did 5 times that, that would be a lot. Because that would be 625, which is the episodes we are today. See, fun with math for our listeners for the first 30 seconds there. Mind blown.
Sometimes I get tired, like talking cards. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what am I even doing? Every day? I couldn't do anything every day.
There are people who have to talk about, you know, math. People have to talk about politics. People talk about, like, war. We get to talk about baseball cards. Well, sports cards. We get to talk about, you know, the hobby. That's a cool thing. You know, you can't get tired of it. I mean, I guess you can, but...
Well, I get tired because I don't want to just show up here and just talk for talking's sake. I want to show up here and add value. And I'm always conscious that someone on the other end is giving me or sharing a part of their day with me. And I don't want to sound like a doofus or steer them in the wrong direction.
All right. Well, listen. Where do you believe you provide the most value? That's, I guess, the best question. Do you believe it's in your analysis of basketball? Do you believe it's in your NBA analysis? Do you believe perhaps it's also the value you provide in maybe there are some people who are a couple years younger than you are listening to us, and maybe they are a couple years further back on the path that you were on, and maybe the value you provide for them is kind of like lessons learned. You know, maybe they're 28. Maybe they're gambling a little bit. You know, maybe they're going down a path that you don't want them to go down. Maybe that's where you provide value. It doesn't necessarily have to be about like, oh, buy this card today. Maybe it's because we have this platform here. Maybe you could spend 5 minutes and tell the listening audience what you think about shill bidding. Because a lot of people come to us with that as a topic. Maybe we can have a conversation about that, and people might find it interesting.
Well, let me answer your first question. Where I think I provide the most value is twofold. Avoid the mistakes I made, gambling, for one. Like, for example, a lot of people, I mean, I guess it makes sense intuitively, but when you gamble, at the end of the day, it's a win or a loss, right? Mm-hmm. You put $100 in, you got a $200 back, or get zero, right? Your bet's closed.
All or nothing.
All or nothing. But when you buy a card, or even a stupid NFT, even if that item doesn't do well, you can still recoup 30%, 20%, 10%, 50% of your value, right? You still have something there that you could sell, recoup, and put your money in. I've had bets where I had the best bet ever. And at the end, some miracle happens. I'll give you an example. Just a few weeks ago, I had Villanova over UConn. I played them live, got them plus 300. They came back to lead that game by 5 points with 30 seconds left. The guy bricks the front end of a 1-and-1. UConn comes down, hits a 3, tie up ball, possession arrow UConn, makes another 3, UConn loses by 1. Got nothing, even though I was kind of right. Point is, don't do that. Second thing I really love is giving people...
The point is, don't do that. That's it. All that. There was a lot of detail right there. There's a lot of detail right there.
And you would have been better buying a Colin Gillespie card, honestly.
I mean, damn, freshman throws up this half-court shot. It's like he's tearing my heart out. So the moral of the story is don't get into Toto or nada type of investments.
Terrible,
right?
I still remember the Seahawks Pats Super Bowl for the rest of my life. First off, never bet against Tom Brady. You're just an idiot, and I've done that so many times.
Listen, the people who bet on Tom Brady in this hobby, they have all done well.
But the second thing
You
is
know
I
what I mean?
love giving people like, hey, I'm passionate about this. How do I turn it into a business? Like my sister, we were talking today, and this has nothing to do with sports cards, but she grew up and 16, 17, 18 years old, she had like facial stuff, like acne and pimples and like that stuff. And that weighs on a girl's confidence a lot, right? And since then,
Mhm.
she's been going to a lady, a dermatologist, who's helped her a lot. Not just with the creams and all that stuff that they sell, but just with like, use this when your face is dry or use this when your face is too oily, right? So I said,
Mhm.
Ariel, make your test your testimonial. The things that have caused you so much pain, help other girls. Create an Instagram page. You're a graphic design major, or you want to be a graphic design minor. Why don't you practice making thumbnails and content and build an Instagram page to help other 16-year-old girls and share your story with them?
And use
So,
the marketing major to then turn it into something worth some money.
so that's where I get really my joy is like helping people take their ideas or passion and turn it into a business.
So those that can't do teach.
Cage, it sucks, man. You know me for 625 episodes. What the fuck do you want from me, man? I couldn't play pro soccer. I'm not that funny. I took improv. I
And those
can't
who
do
can't teach
stand up.
teach gym. Am I right or am I right?
I
What
can't
are you
act.
talking
Like,
about?
what do
can't
you want me to do? What do you want, man?
Oh
I'm gonna be a
man.
teacher. But
You
I'll
know
tell
what I
you
think
what.
you're gonna
I'll
do?
tell you, real
You're gonna
quick,
play.
real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
At least in 2022, I could be a teacher and make a few $100,000 or maybe $1 million. But if before because of Instagram, you could teach through content.
Yes.
Before that, I
Not
would have
like
had to be
public
like a
school
gym.
teacher. You're not making $1
Right.
million.
Before, I would have to be a teacher and make like 30K or 40K.
Yeah. But listen, you have made it very clear you're never working for anyone. So I get it. So you're going to be an Instagram teacher. So
I literally work for everyone, I realized. I work
If you-
for our team to make sure that they're taken care of and they're spoon fed exactly what needs to be done. I work for our partners. I work for our audience. I work for PSA and SGC suburbs. We work for everybody.
listen, I'll give you some credit. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. Andrew fields a lot of sponsorship inquiries from different various companies out there. And, each one of them approaches us differently. And one approached us this week. And basically, the gist of it was they wanted just like 30-day trial, like a free sample, oh, yeah, sign up and get your 30-day free sample. And then after the 30 days, you can cancel at any time. But if you love it, put your credit card down and sign up forever. This was their pitch. It was kind of like, give us everything for 30 days. We'll give you nothing. And then after 30 days, if we think it's a fit, then we can talk about what we might be able to do. And
So I bent over and I said, you know what, do it. But first call me. Like, just take me out on a date. And they're like, no, that's not our
It wasn't a no. So that's the funny
communication.
part. It wasn't a no. That alone wasn't a, it was like, let's have a call and talk. No, email's better. All right. Yeah. Okay.
You can't even buy me ice cream.
Exactly. And he's a weirdo who likes pistachio. I will tell you something
A lot of
funny.
people like pistachio.
People came at me. I got a lot of DMs when I said only weirdos like pistachio. I got a lot of pictures of people's freezers. They came after me. They're like, what's wrong with pistachio, fat man?
I like when there's like a little crunchy pistachio, not just the flavor of it. I like when there's the actual nuts in it.
You like the nuts in your mouth. I get it, man. I understand how.
There was no way I could have said that differently.
You could have just said, I like pistachio ice cream that has nuts in it instead of the pistachio ice cream, which is green without nuts.
Yeah, green without nuts is weird.
I mean, listen, I'm with you, man. I mean, pistachio, not my thing. Not my thing. Although, look, people are very, choosy about what ice cream they eat. I was having some vanilla chip the other day. I had vanilla with chocolate in it. Like not chocolate chips. It's got like little pieces of chocolate, and it just evoked a visceral reaction here. Like I don't understand how people eat vanilla chip ice cream. Oh my goodness! And meanwhile, I love it. I love it.
The kids,
Yeah, I mean, Leah is. Let's see, what is she like? Basically anything. She'll eat anything. Ian, vanilla. It's just vanilla. Don't put anything else in front of me.
Slim Shady.
Just give me vanilla. Vanilla and done. All right, so listen, bringing it back to sports. We would be remiss if we did not give LeBron a bit of credit. He's 176 years old, and he jumps very high. It's an impressive
Can I give you my breakdown? So I was watching it.
Sure.
I was interested how it would go because Cavs have played incredible all year. They're without Jared Allen, who's a huge loss. I'll come back to that in a second. But I was like, is LeBron going to show out in his maybe final game in Cleveland? It's probably not, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
And dude, so Mobley had 3 fouls in the first half, and that was it. When Evan Mobley was out, there was no one stopping. There was no one to meet LeBron at the rim. Laurie Markkanen's not going to meet him at the rim. Kevin Love's not going to meet him at the rim. There was no one to meet LeBron at the rim, and he just attacked relentlessly. Relentlessly attacked all game.
Which is what he should do. If there's no rim protector, that's what he should do.
But if there is a rim protector,
he can do it.
You can't. So, and you know what Cleveland does really well is they rim protect with a help defender. So they'll have Kevin Love backpedal, and Evan Mobley or Jared Allen come from behind and kind of help and with Evan Mobley out and Jared Allen out.
With Allen out and the Cavs kind of limping towards the end of the season, 10 games left, can the Nets catch the Cavs and avoid the play-in? With Durant putting his team, so you have to look at the standings. I think they're about 2.5 games back of that 6th seed, the Nets. Durant basically is having fun out there. He's doing his thing and he's putting his team on his back, sort of like LeBron's doing. Can the Lakers move up a little bit? I think the Lakers, a play-in game is unavoidable for them. There's only about 10, 11 games left for these teams. But the Cavs, they're in danger of dropping into that play-in. You looking at the standings?
I am.
Surprised, right?
I don't think it matters for the Nets because in a one game, I mean, here's the Nets next few games: Grizzlies, Heat, Bucks.
That's a tough run.
They play the Cavs once. I don't think they catch the Cavs, but the Cavs are going to struggle, man. The Cavs overachieved all year. They have. Yeah. They've overachieved, and it's a good season. They have a lot to go back to the drawing board. It's going to be interesting to see how they compete in the playoffs. Not to say they're going to win a series, but just to give them a little confidence that they can play with the big boys.
Do you remember the NBA preview? I said both the Knicks and the Hawks were going to kind of suck. That was the 4-5 matchup from last year. The Knicks are just awful. I mean, just awful. They are bad. I mean, they are really
a lot of
bad.
Things didn't go their way too. And also a lot of teams got better and they didn't. So
yeah, I mean, the ball didn't go in the basket for them. That didn't go that way. But it's shaping up to be an interesting couple of weeks when we get down to it for the NBA playoffs. I like the play-ins. I mean, we talked about that yesterday, and I like that basically on any given night anybody can win. We came here, we talked yesterday. I said, how Philly, was probably going to sit Harden and Embiid. But what we didn't give to our audience was you and I talked after our episode before the game, and I said, hey, you might want to take a flyer on the Sixers because no one's expecting them to do anything, and now the spread has gone too far in the other direction, favoring the Heat. I mean, I didn't think the Sixers would win, but I thought they'd keep it close. And I said, without Maxey having to, be deferential to Embiid and Harden, he's the number one guy. He'll probably have a good game too. And it worked. I mean, the Sixers, without those two guys, beat the Heat, right? And Maxey had a heck of a game.
They're in a scary place, though. They're directionless now, right? Because
what do you do after a game like that? That's what I was going to ask you. What do you do, right? What do you do?
Can I tell you what I think they should do?
Yeah, trade for Ben Simmons back?
No. Move Harden to the bench. Let him run the 6th unit like he did when he first came into the league. If you actually really look at Harden's career, when he had the most success is when he came off the bench.
You also said that the Lakers should move Russell Westbrook to the bench. I think that is your go-to thing when somebody is not someone you like.
Well, it's not you move them to the bench like in soccer. You move someone to the bench and they don't play. The bench guys get 60% of the minutes that the starters do. But they go against inferior competition, which is helpful to guys who are a little aging. And they also get to run the offense because the second unit typically is role players. It's guys who aren't traditional ball handlers who either are really good 3-point shooters or, 3-and-D guys. Now they get to be the number one guy, but we're versus slightly worse competition. That favors a Harden. That favors a Westbrook.
You know what's funny? We'll give a little insight. In high school, I bowled. My high school had a bowling team. Yes, please give me the fun. I was the captain of it. You guys got to remember,
You're a leader.
I was a football player and a soccer player, and then got hurt. I couldn't do that anymore, but I still wanted to play sports, so it became non-contact, became volleyball.
Do you regret your injury?
I mean, it's not something you can regret or not regret, right? It's not something I did. It's something that happened.
Do you wish, if you could trade, would you have wished it came in college and you could have played college sports?
I don't know. I'd prefer it never happened at all. But anyway, we'll see how it works.
Well, the reason I ask is because Manny on our team, he didn't play college sports, even though he got recruited. He chose academics over college, right? And you
look
chose
how that
academics.
turned out. He's very smart. He's a very smart guy, right? He's Manny. We love you. You're very smart. So
but maybe you wouldn't go law. Maybe law wouldn't be your thing because you would be playing college sports. You might have gone business. You knew you were going to be a lawyer.
I might have played soccer at Drexel, and then the red carpet would have been rolled out for me. You never know. No, but the point here, guys, without getting too crazy, was the way that it worked was you had an A team and a B team, right? And they both played, right? And it was a best-of-3 series. So the A team played against the other team's A team, and the B team played against the other team's B team. If both of your teams won, it was over. You swept 2-0. It was sort of like, men's tennis in a smaller tournament, right? You take the first 2 sets, you don't have to play a third. If those teams split, however, you had a C team, which was whoever you wanted. You could put some from A, some from B. You could just use your A team. It was a third match, and that decided it, best of 3. Even though, so it was like five per team, right? 5 on the A team, 5 on the B team. Even though I was clearly one of the 5 best, I anchored the B squad, and our B squad won like 85% of our games because our squad, we didn't just put our 5 best on the A and then the 6 through 10 on the B. It was mixed up. So we had the 2-0 more often because every other team kind of did the whole put your top 5 on the and
what is your best, right? You had a guy who probably every team has had this guy who at his best, he might be right near the peak, but at his worst, he's terrible, right? He has this huge variance versus you might have had a guy who's just consistent. He might not be the best of the best, but he's consistent. So best is such an interesting topic. It's like, who's also around you, sometimes having someone around you. I mean, best is such a relative thing. Obviously the clear-cut best are the best, but
your point though is in the NBA, your starting 5 can't play 48 minutes.
No.
I mean, there are some people who play a lot of the game.
I thought LeBron played the entire game yesterday. He didn't come off one.
LeBron, it's amazing how he's doing it, but that's not the way you normally play. And, normally a second team comes in and you're playing against the other second team. So it's not the worst suggestion in the world to throw someone like Harden on there to lead the second team. He's going to be ball dominant. He's going to get all the stuff. And you would like to think that, maybe they'd make back some points if the first team was down, or they could expand the lead on whatever their first team was doing. I get it.
They could run 2 different types of offense too, which makes it really difficult for the team to game plan. They run this big man with Joel, and then they run ISO ball. It gets really tough. I
mean, I get you. You would think though that by now Harden and Embiid would figure out the pick and roll. Like that they would have figured out how to do it and how to do it the right way and figure out spacing, but they haven't.
It's impossible. The one factor that for all of that where we just discussed the work is ego.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's ego. Some players are willing to come off the bench, some people just aren't. And that's where I'm at. I don't think Westbrook, I don't think Harden, after having such successful statistical careers, I think that I don't think they'd be able to do it. I don't think that
their egos won't let them. Okay. All right. But I mean, listen, I get that though. I mean, I can understand that, these guys, they get to the position that they're in because of that, because they have those egos, because they want to tell people they're the best in the world. You know what I mean? And then they go out there and they prove it and they hit, I mean, look, at one point in time, right? Westbrook and Harden were MVPs of the league. It's
Right.
very hard to tell somebody who during their career was the most valuable player that you should go and sit on the bench and come off on the
Because
second.
in their mind, they're still like, wait, hold up. I still think I'm the best. Right?
Yep.
It's not like they're sitting there like, yeah, all these guys are way better than me. I'm just trying my hardest out there. They're still trying to compete to be the best. So that's why young teams like Memphis are so cool. These guys haven't gotten their first huge contract, right? They haven't have their egos. They all know their role. And even though, Dylan Brooks or Desmond Bane was coming off the bench, man, they're just trying to earn their stripes. They just want to see their team win. That's why these teams of vets, even though it seems like they're good, it's very dangerous as playing with fire.
All right. I mean, listen, we know some Milwaukee folks. Obviously, we Slab Stocks. We're in a group with them. They love the Bucks. I got into a little bit of a thing with them about their offense and their defense losing their best players. About Devontae Parker coming to the Raiders, and they said he wasn't that good, and they were paying too much. And I said Darius Smith was a huge loss for them. They just don't with Rodgers signing. I mean, I'm glad they re-signed Bobby Tunyon. That's a nice little safety blanket for security blanket for Rodgers, his big tight end. But Darius Smith, who I said was their best outside linebacker, and they disagreed. He just signed with their division rival Vikings. A 3-year deal worth up to $47 million. So you're going to see him a couple times a year. I guess we'll see whether or not he was really as good as I think.
Employee of the year is Kirk Cousins' agent. Just incredible. Incredible. I still can't believe Kirk Cousins earns.
He's making his money.
What do they see in that guy? Why do you keep muting yourself? Oh, I see. You're talking. The kids are studying. I'll get into my play a little bit here. So I have two plays, kind of similar guys, different trajectory of their career. My plays today are one who is a basketball player who's trending up, and the other who is a basketball player
who's trending down.
Is going to be trending down even more, but I love what I'm seeing from this team. So I'll start with the first guy. I think the Detroit Pistons are one or two pieces away from being an 8 seed. So, I'm interested who they're going to draft, right? And I'm interested. It's a lottery, right? So you don't even know where they're going to fall yet. But they have a really good team right now, a really good young team. Let me rephrase that. I like Cade. I like Sadiq Bey. I also like Jeremy Grant. I think he's a solid piece. And they have these interesting pieces around them. And they have an awesome coach for what they have. A coach that's built around a team like this. Dwayne Casey, coach of the year. Right? He might not be able to get his team to a championship, but if you guys remember, that Toronto Raptors team was a good team. They battled hard every single game. Marvin Bagley is a guy no one's talking about. He's been sold off so much that no one even people post a nice card of his and the whole group will scoff at even considering buying it. And it's the Cage's point of when you lose cardboard relevance, it's really hard to get it back. Really hard. Because it's people don't even realize that he's putting up double doubles, 20-point games, 10 rebounds, playing good minutes, playing hard on a team that frankly isn't good enough and isn't playing for anything and is just meshing. And he's the fifth option on that team. I think you could find some Prism Silver, Prism Color of these guys for a few $100. 15-9 last night on 28 minutes. 6 of 9 shooting. No turnovers. He's a guy that's going to be in the rotation next year. It's just he is what he is. He's a good player. 20-11 before that, 13-6 before that, 15-8, 20-11, 19-10, 18-8. And this is in 29 minutes. This isn't like a full game, Rips would say use the per 36. So that's one guy to look at. Whether that's, take a flyer on his national treasures, can't be too much, or a Prism parallel. Do your research. That's one. The other guy that I said wouldn't play this year, but the team wouldn't make the announcement. They'll kind of let it, kind of hover around is Zion. There was no reason for them to bring Zion back. They're not going to make the announcement that he's not coming back and put a lot of pressure on him. So they just kind of let it play out. And here there's 10 games left. They're like, Zion's not coming back this season, obviously. And people who are holding hope are going to dump his cards right now. They're just not going to have the patience to wait for next season. And that's your opportunity. Because, honestly, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid followed the exact same track record as Zion. I don't know where you guys want to put them now, but they both have had card buying opportunities and card selling opportunities. Now, Simmons has a herniated disc. We could talk about that actually. But Joel Embiid is an MVP candidate that didn't play for a little while. He came in, broke his foot. They didn't rush him back. Remember, trust the process, all that stuff. Here's your chance. If you think Zion could do anything, if he could be a 25 point 10 rebound guy and an MVP contention in 3 years like Embiid is, here's your opportunity to buy him for pennies on the dollar. And not wait a few weeks. Let the card prices settle. But his market will come down. There were a few people holding hope that he would come back this year.
I like it. Listen, New York Mayor Adams said today that unfortunately New York teams are still going to have to wait. He's not at a point right now where he's rolling back the private employer mandate, which means, if you're counting down the days, right, you have Yankees home opener is April 7th, and several of them are not vaccinated and they won't be able to play. NBA play-in tournament starts April 12th, Kyrie, and the Mets home opener is April 15th. And
when is the playing game?
The play-in tournament starts April 12th.
Wow.
Yeah.
It comes out of nowhere.
Well, dude, some teams have played 72 games. There's only 10 games left. It's an 82-game season, it's a couple weeks away. But yeah, it's NBA play-in tournament starts April 12th. So it's still a couple weeks, but the mayor here in New York has said, we're doing it right, and people are going to look back, and even though I'm taking heat, they're going to say I did this the right way, and all this other mumbo jumbo.
No,
Point is, it impacts a bunch of stuff, right? It impacts the Nets. It impacts my play, although I don't think it's really going to matter. My play today for you guys is baseball, and it's a sneaky one. It depends what you like about this. I think it's a short-term play, and I was surprised at how cheap the cards were. But there's a couple things we'll get to where I'll speak against this guy for longevity. But if you take a look at the 2017 Topps Chrome Aaron Judge rookie in PSA 10, you can get him in the high $60s to $70 for PSA 10.
Your GM said you guys have a good team today.
Well, what is he supposed to say? He's supposed to come out and say, hey, please buy tickets, even though our team sucks? They're still selling tickets, man. That's what they're going to do. And if everything breaks right, they do have a good team.
2017 or 16?
2017.
The
Topps
catching?
Chrome. The one with him fielding the ball, against the fence, exactly. There are refractors of this as well, but I'm just looking at the base one now, and here's why, guys. Aaron Judge is in his final season without a contract, and he has said that he's not going to talk about a contract during the season, which, people say, and he also came out and said he wants to be Yankee for life. The Yankees said today that they are going to present him with an offer before the season starts, which your hope is one of those that's, good enough that he takes, which means you're going to hear a lot about Aaron Judge. You're going to hear about him signing and, hopefully becoming a Yankee for life. So that's one option of two, right? And you see, this has been beat to hell, right? They may sign him. And if he signs a long-term contract with the Yankees, that's great. And, he'll be a, Yankee, maybe become the next captain or, whatever it may be. And that'll be good for his card values because, you'll know he's a Yankee. He's a Yankee to begin with. He's a Yankee on this card. And he'll be a Yankee forever. But why I don't mind. The other option is maybe he doesn't sign. Maybe they don't offer him enough money. Maybe he says no. And we've seen it time and time and time again that players who are in their walk year, in their contract year, all of a sudden they have, Giancarlo Stanton stays healthy, 50 home run type of season, and then get a paycheck. Now his paycheck might still be with with the Yankees, and maybe it won't be. But to me, that's giving you two options here. One, in the next couple of weeks, he signs with the Yankees and gets a bump. People start looking at his cards because here's Aaron Judge going to be the face of the Yankees for his whole career. Or two, he doesn't sign, and he's going to have a heck of a year. At least that's what I think. He's healthy. They figured out that oblique thing. It was a fractured rib, all that stuff. Yes, if you like autos, that's it. It's back to 2013, right?
Only $870?
Yeah, but that's a 9.510.
I don't get it. You have like prospects that are way worse than Judge that are selling for 5x.
Yep. Yeah, well, because people don't care. Because Judge is not a prospect anymore. Judge is, somebody who, who had a great season and then did not live up to that hype. It's exactly the player that we talk about when we talk about this, right? The Mahomes, the everything goes right, and then when it goes wrong, it's very hard to pick that back up. It's very hard to get that momentum train, that cardboard relevance train moving back up the hill. Right? But his cards have been beaten up so badly that, for $70, you're picking up his PSA 10 or the auto that you like. So here's the negatives, right? The negatives is he's older. He went to college, right? He actually played in college. And, the Yankees would be signing him at like 30 years old instead of some of these other guys who are signing much younger. You don't go to college and you have the prospect time. That's 4 years of playing in the minors where you didn't play in college. Instead you're signing people who are 26 years old. It's fun to think about this, but if they don't sign him, and a lot of conspiracy theorists are saying the Yankees didn't spend money this year because they have their eyes set on a prize. That prize being the man who just turned down a 13-year, $350 million contract. And every time somebody turns down a contract like that, Yankee fans are supposed to say, well, that's because he's going to come play for us. And that is Juan Soto, who, when he becomes a free agent, unlike Judge, who's 30, he'll be 26 years old. 26. So real young because he started real young. And next year, that's going to be a lot of the conversation. And, when you compare Tatis signing a 14-year $340, to wipe out some of his free agency, and Lindor 10-year $341, to start to talk about, Soto getting a 10-year $400 to $450 million contract offer. Yeah, it's not next year, right? It's a couple seasons away when he's 26 years old, but it's a fun one. It's a fun one to think about, That's the kind of difference. I do the comparison just because of the age.
I promise my confusion. You see my face, right?
Yes, you're confused. Why? Because Aaron Judge?
Well, I'm looking at Bryce Harper. I'm thinking, okay, Bryce Harper. Okay.
So here, by the way, I talked about him recently. He was my play. Exactly the same scenario. Why I think Bryce Harper is a play is because his cards are beat to hell also. Because
2011,
and this is a guy who won the MVP.
Chrome prospects. This isn't his legit card, right? Cage.
So that's a facsimile auto, and what you're looking at there, you have to go backwards. When you look at autos, you want the Bowman Chrome auto, which will be 2011. His Topps rookie will be 2012, just like his Prism rookie.
So this is his main card.
So that, I don't know, what you're looking at there is not his main card. That's just a Bowman Chrome card. It's not his first Bowman card because he has a USA card from under 18 the year before that. That would be the auto version of that would be his first auto.
Oh, you're looking at the
same card. Yeah, I'm looking at what you're showing me, what you're sharing on the screen. Yeah.
Let me share a different thing. I apologize, guys, but this. I think this is valuable because I'm learning myself. Like, this is his main card.
Yeah, that's going to be his first auto. That's like a base first auto of him.
So there are prospects right now. Like, give me some prospects in baseball.
J-Rod Rodriguez on Seattle.
Is his Bowman prospects more expensive than that card?
Significantly more, I would bet. Yes.
I don't understand. And they're like Instagram
Okay,
doesn't.
so here's why you should understand this. Because you are making the exact opposite argument that you were making when we were having the Giannis Duncan conversation. I know Giannis is not a quote prospect, right? Giannis has already
Giannis
won
is Bryce Harper to me.
correct. That's the way it should be, but it's not. In basketball, it's he's the young guy. In basketball, he's the youngster right now, and Duncan's done and finished playing and the whole deal. And you were
But
like,
J-Rod
wow, it doesn't make any
hasn't even
sense.
played.
Look
He
at
literally
Dominguez's
hasn't
cards.
even played.
Right? Look at Dominguez's cards. Look at Volpe's cards now. Look at these guys. Right? Look at what was happening with. And here's the fun thing, guys. We see this time and time again. Look at Jared Kelenick's cards. Right? They were up last year, and who knows what he's going to do. Right? I mean, there's prospects all over the place. So people like prospecting on these cards. People like
Like
prospecting.
losing money.
No, because eventually, if they get it right, they will make money. Harper's a tough one because people just hate Harper. People don't like him, so he's a tough one.
I'm like sitting here. So, what's a gold refractor usually like relative to a Bowman prospects? Like
So
35 to 1?
I actually just looked. There's a gold for Judge. There's a gold. It's not the Chrome. It's a Chrome update one of Judge. Gold refractor PSA 10 for $500 on eBay right now. It's like nothing. The rookie gold refractor.
But Acuna on collectible, they rejected the offer for his card for $35,000.
Yep.
And it IPO'd at 22. And they're like, no. Acuna's going to be like this marvel, dude. If Acuna has a Bryce Harper career, he'll dance from the rafters if he has a Bryce Harper.
Here's a funny one, right? Bryce Harper's actually younger than Aaron Judge. You believe that? A lot of people don't realize that. And Harper's already done so much more because he came in the league, years before Judge. And he's put up, MVP seasons. So Harper just doesn't get any love. Harper doesn't get any love at all. He doesn't. People don't like him. He went to Philly. He didn't stay where he was. But Harper put up another MVP season this year. And people will have to look. People will have to care about his cards, I think.
So maybe I'm using card ladder wrong. I'm willing to admit that. But I'll show you how much your point, he gets no love. He's not. They don't even have Bryce Harper, Bowman Chrome in card ladder.
Taking a look. I'll take a look. I mean, I'm looking at what you have. Just type Harper 2000. Yeah, I mean, so there's his 2012 update.
But they don't have his Bowman Chrome prospects, which is like the card in baseball.
So type 2009 for just right 2000 or 2010 right now after Harper. 2010 Harper. Or 2010 Bryce. Yeah, see that? So there's the top one. Top one.
This is his first card.
Yeah, because that was when he was on the under 18 USA. 2010 right there. See that? Strasburg's first one is in that same one too. I remember opening packs of that one.
But it's not Bowman Chrome prospects?
So this is like a subset at the end where it was a Team USA. So that's his first Bowman Chrome card. It should say Bowman Chrome first up in the top left. I can't see it if you zoom in on it.
It does say Bowman Chrome first,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's his first Bowman Chrome card.
So his first, and that might be a challenging thing too for people, like because Bryce has a few. He also spans. He's like that Paul George, Steph Curry era, right? Where it's, I think he has a Panini card in 2012 that you gave, or 20.
He's got, and his first autograph is actually like an Aflac card.
So okay.
He's also got people like his Heritage high number auto, which is really rare and high grade too. There's a lot of Harper cards. There definitely are. There's a lot of Harper cards. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but they're still such low price compared to like Trout. I mean, I don't want to compare him to Trout. Obviously, Trout's great, but compared to some of the prospects now, yeah, they're undervalued. Anyway, Aaron Judge, guys, take a look. We'll see if news comes out about him. It's just a fun one. I'm trying to steer us all towards baseball a little bit. I don't want to make too long of an episode, but we should do that, man. You know what we should do? We should ask the audience. In our Discord or wherever it is, give us 5 prospects that you think you're going to turn into something this year, let's look at their prices, and 5 guys who are undervalued, who've already turned something, they've already made careers, right? Whether, with people like Aaron Judge. I mean, someone like Bellinger who won an MVP, his cards are probably dirt cheap right now because he just didn't do anything the last 2 years. But he's also in that Dodgers lineup, has a ring, an MVP, and maybe he turns it around this year and becomes, a productive hitter again. But who knows?
You catch a prospect early. Mm-hmm. He bursts onto the scene as the hope, like a Wander Franco.
Yep.
You sell into strength, and then he fades into oblivion. Is that kind of how baseball works?
Well, the hope is that they don't fade, right? But here's the thing, right? If we are going to name the can't miss prospects from the last 2 decades, the 2 that come to mind are Mike Trout and Bryce Harper. Harper especially. Harper was like Griffey-esque, and he's sort of delivered. I mean, he won the MVP. Trout has delivered, right? Not a lot of these other guys are quote unquote delivering. I mean, we'll see what Wander Franco does. He's in that category also. We'll see what Dominguez does. He's in that category also.
You know what's frustrating about Harper? And so 2012 is when he debuted for the Nationals. 59 RBIs, 22 home runs, batting average 270. Then 58 RBIs, 20 home runs. Then 32 RBIs, 13 home runs. Then after 3 years, and talk about when you lose cardboard relevance, it's hard to get it back. He started to get better. But those first 3 years, maybe he lost cardboard relevance and didn't perform. Because he's actually doing better now, Cage. He has 84 RBIs last season. In 2019, he had 114. He's picked it up as he's aged.
Yeah, the home run numbers are key. I mean, he had an MVP season. What was it, 2015 maybe? He had an MVP season like one for the ages. Right?
Yeah, 2015, 42 home runs, 99 RBIs, 330 batting average.
I mean, batted 330 with 42 home runs. That's, back then, especially, the ball wasn't as juiced as it is now. And, the old deal, I mean, that was a heck of a season he had there, right? That's when he won the MVP, I think. Yep. Did he win it again last year?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a, right? I mean,
five tool player. It says it right on his Wikipedia, so they don't lie.
They don't lie. Well, anyway, guys, listen.
Nation.
Go ahead.
No, I kids, dinner, food. Wanted to wrap up. Do you have anything else? Anything comes to mind?
Join our Facebook group, folks. Subscribe on our YouTube page. The Facebook page will have a ton of information about our SGC, group subs. Our YouTube page is growing in leaps and bounds. We've almost got as many people watching on YouTube now as we have listening, which is an impressive thing because there's a lot on both. People like how you maneuver and share your screen with with functionality on there. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all. And anybody who's coming to Mint Collective, now we're only a couple days away. Send me a message. We'll find a time to meet up.
Luca Nation Network on Facebook. You got your Pele card today. How'd it feel?
It felt like a very large box for a very small card.
2 boxes. A box inside of a box.
A box inside of a box. And it was cool. I'll bring it. I'll bring it to the show. Maybe there'll be some trading to be done.
Love you guys. Love you, Luca Nation.